Formula One, the sport in which 20 of the best drivers drive around tracks with breathtaking speeds and turns for over 20 weekends a year. Quickly becoming one of the fastest growing sports in the world, F1 has even spawned a behind-the-scenes style documentary series on Netflix called Drive to Survive. Let's start with the basics that you need to know before watching your first ever race weekend. Welcome to the channel. This is Onboard, where we talk about anything and everything Formula One both on and off the track. So get on board with us, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. We start with the teams that we have in the sport. 10 teams that each have 2 drivers. Each team's objective is to get the most points to win what is called the Constructors' Championship, and this is determined by the points earned by the 2 drivers at each race. At the end of the year, the team with the most points wins. Each driver, however, has the main focus of being the world champion, and this pits each and every single individual driver against one another, including teammates. Each team builds 2 identical cars with the target of making them as fast as possible to win races. This means Formula One is not just about driving, but about engineering, strategy, and teamwork. The current teams are as it stands. Red Bull, who are the 2022 Constructors' Champions, with their drivers being Sergio Perez and current world champion Max Verstappen. Ferrari, the most successful team in the history of the sport, with their 2 drivers, in Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. Drivers George Russell and the 7-time world champion, who is also the most successful driver in Formula One history, Lewis Hamilton, represent Mercedes. These 3 teams have been considered the front-runners of F1 for many years now. The rest of the teams have recently been fighting for 4th, as a top 3 finish has been virtually impossible. We have Team Alpine, driven by Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso. McLaren have Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo behind the wheel. Alfa Romeo has Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu. Aston Martin places their hopes on Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel. Team Haas has Kevin Magnussen and Mick Schumacher, the son of German great Michael Schumacher, who is also a 7-time world champion. AlphaTauri, who has Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly, and finally Williams, who have Nicolas Latifi and Alex Albon. Formula One has a total of 20 seats, making it one of the most exclusive jobs in the world. These are the drivers for 2022, but there are several changes happening each and every year, with each driver having a contract and the ability to move to another team, or have the team decide to go another direction, which means plenty of pressure for the drivers as they combat weather, technical failures, mind games, and up to 6 Gs of force during the race in order to be the best. Race weekend consists of multiple days. The drivers will come to the track on Thursday to do their media duties, but on Friday, they get into the car. There will be 2 free practice sessions called FP1 and FP2. In these sessions, the drivers will get used to the track and any last-minute changes made to their car. Here, teams use these sessions to collect as much data as possible in order to make any necessary informed decisions about changes. On Saturday, a final practice session called FP3 takes place, where teams will do the same thing as in FP1 and 2 and get as much data as possible before qualifying starts later on in the day. Qualifying is used to determine where the drivers will start on the grid, but there are no points awarded for this, and this is done in a knockout format. First, qualifying 1 takes place, where all 20 drivers try and set the fastest laps possible. However, the 5 slowest drivers will be knocked out, and wherever they finish, they will start on the grid the following day in which points are scored. This is followed by Q2, where the remaining 15 drivers will go out once again, and the 5 slowest drivers will be knocked out, and where they finish is where they start for the race. The final round of qualifying is Q3, where the remaining 10 drivers fight to set the fastest lap and fight for first place, or pole position, which would allow them to start at the front and in place 1, or P1 out of P20. Getting pole position, or otherwise finishing high up the grid, gives drivers the best chance to score points on the most important and exciting day, Sunday race day. This is the big day for the teams, with points being awarded to the top 10 finishers, with the race winner receiving 25 points. P2 gets 18, P3 gets 15, and from P4 to P10, less and less points, from 12 to just 1. Sunday is the day that nobody wants to miss, with drivers making overtakes and going wheel to wheel in corners that are as quick as 200 miles per hour. Sunday is the only day in which drivers actually race one another, which means all drama-filled tension comes to fruition. These high speeds come with high amounts of friction and large potential for damage. Drivers will take pit stops in which they drive slightly off the track to the rest of their team, where the tires can be replaced and any other damages could be taken care of. They are required to pit at least once per race, with no limit. With 5 total types of tires in the mix, based on weather and strategy, this clearly lays the ground for a technical and tactical decision-making process. Each year, there are a set number of races, and in 2023, there will be a record-breaking 24 races in a period from early March until late November. There is a track in every single continent except Africa, but there are races in the streets of Las Vegas and traditional circuits such as Silverstone in the UK. Every single race weekend brings a brand new challenge for each of the 20 drivers, making every race a true must-watch, as anything can happen, and results can be affected in the blink of an eye. When two teams create a car that is very close in potential performance, and when they are fighting for a championship, it can cause a lot of drama. Last season, in 2021, both Red Bull and Mercedes, with Hamilton and Verstappen, were fighting for the championship, with Hamilton looking for his record-breaking 8 championships and Verstappen looking for his very first. Drama spawns on track as well, with the drivers coming together and crashing, causing the two teams to be quite feisty in the media. All that Netflix-worthy drama made the 2021 season one of the best of previous years, and a big reason why you should start watching the sport today. Thanks for watching, and make sure to leave a like, and don't forget, one of the best ways to continue learning about Formula 1 and to keep up to date with all the drama, twists and turns, and high-octane action is to subscribe to the channel and keep learning. So get on board with us, and fall in love with the sound of that motor.